environment conservation and also sustainability. Okay, you have already asked your students to conduct all these observations, interview, and you have guided them. That's a nice thing. I congratulate each facilitator or the teacher or the guide for having done excellent work in bringing together and also to open their heart, open their brain to express, to come out with the feelings. Now, as the students have to write the project, now is the time for you to guide them. And we should also understand what makes a good report. Okay, how actually it has to be written. And here are the key features. It has to be original. So the students have to write this particular project based on their observation, based on their experience, based on their teamwork, based on the information or the knowledge they got from the resource persons or from library or from internet. And finally, every word, every sentence has to be original from the heart and mind of your students. And it should be interesting. If at all, if some other student or some other resource persons or maybe the member of jury uh, start reading it, it should be interesting. It should create interest till the end of the project and easy to read. Not that we should expose for very difficult words, right? It has to be a simple sentences and easy words that are well known to the students of 10th standard and of course for the general public, and easy to read and understand. And its purpose, for what purpose this particular project has been undertaken, how it has been undertaken, what were the objectives. You make it very clear, the objectives of the project, so that it creates the interest for the reader, for the member of the jury to read and understand your entire project and come out with the good decision on the quality and content of the project. Well, friends, coming to the cover page, the first cover page of the report, you have to mention the Sustainability Education Program for Schools, WIPRO, Earthian, and year 2024, and mention the thematic area. You know already that there are three different thematic areas: sustainability and waste, sustainability and water, sustainability and biodiversity, probably depending upon the availability of the resource, availability of the area to be studied, depending upon the interest of your students, and also the kind of connectivity that you have with that particular area. You must have selected one out of the three thematic areas. So you should type it out, the thematic area. Under that thematic area, what particular title you have taken. Let's say if it is sustainability and biodiversity. Is it the biodiversity of the campus area? Is it the project to study the biodiversity of the school campus, or maybe a local park, or the backyard of a very large house, or maybe a particular marked area of the deciduous forest, like that? So mention the title of the project. It should be catchy, meaningful, and as short as possible. It should catch the interest, curiosity, so that the reader should start reading it, analyzing it, and trying to understand the entire project. So please spend more time to make the project title very meaningful, catchy, and it should also be very, not very lengthy. It should be as short as possible. Below that, you should have the photo of all the students who work together as a team, right? It should be a group photo. Below that, you have to see that there should be the names of the entire group. So it may be two members, or maybe three, or maybe four, or maybe five. You should type all the names of the students who participated in this particular project. Below that, most important is you should type it out, the name of the school. The name of the school should be in detail. Let's say it is GHS, Government High School, like that. You should not write only the acronym, but the name of the entire school and address also. The full address And then please mention the pin code. That's very important. All these contents will be there on the cover page. Then the next page is the registration forum. In the registration form, these are all mandatory. Here are the list wherein you have to mention all the details. Number one, name of the school in detail, no acronyms. Then project title, whether it is sustainability and water or sustainability and biodiversity, sustainability and waste, project title. Team members, with age, that's very important, whether it is 2 or 4 or 3 or 5, please mention the name of the students who participated in this project along with their age. That's very important. And the next column is with regard to the head of the institution, the headmaster or the principal. Please write the uh, write the name of the head of the institution, then the guide faculty, yourself, the facilitator. Please mention the name of the facilitator. Then the role or designation. You have played the role of the facilitator. In addition, what is your designation? Are you an assistant teacher or vice principal, like that? Whatever designation you have, please write the designation and email address. It is better to write the email address of the institution, right? That's very important. Please create an email if at all, if it is not there, and finally mention the email address. Also, please write the phone, whether it is landline or mobile number. That's also very, very important. Then please write the entire address, the full address of the school. As I mentioned, it should be in detail. And of course, below that, the place, whether it is in a village or a town or a city, please mention the name of the particular project where you have carried out. Then the district, and then district of the state. Then your state, whether it is Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, Gujarat, like that, please mention the state. And finally, most important is the pin code. And you have to mention the total strength of the students present in our school. See, that will give us an idea how actually, while carrying out this particular project, the students of different sections which have formed a team, they will be carrying on the message, carrying on their experiences, sharing their experiences, their thrill, their observation. See, in that sense, gradually the information they have learned and the skill they have learned, and finally the learning of sustainability, that will be penetrated into all the students of that particular school. That's the purpose. Please mention the student strength, and below that, finally, there should be this signature at the head of the institution with the institution seal. So these are all mandatory. See that nothing should be left out. Let it be very clear. Then page 3, this is the content page. Okay. So in the center, you will type it out as contents with the bigger font. Then there will be serial number, the subject, and page number. The first one is about the abstract. For the entire project, there will be an abstract that starts from fourth and fifth page, one page. Then introduction. Okay, that's in the page 6 and 7.
Sir, what is abstract, sir?
Abstract, yeah, I will come to that after this content page. This is a good question. Okay.
Why don't you wait for the questions a little bit? Let the session it's completed, then you can ask your questions.
Sorry,
Okay.
sir.
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Please note down the question or doubt you have, and definitely we'll have detailed discussion on all the questions that the members of this particular session raises. Okay. We'll continue with the third point, methodology. What is the methodology that the students have taken? The methodology you have advised to take up and to implement. So that starts with the 8th page and continue. Then is the part A. See, as you know that the part A has the divisions, the information collected from compulsory activities. You know that in the part A, there is a compulsory activity and optional activity. In the compulsory activities, there are 5. All the activities must be carried out by the team. So that the information, whatever they have collected, from all the five activities that should be there. Then optional activities. There will be four optional activities in out of the three projects, and out of the four, two have to be carried out by the students that you would have written in the optional activities. Then the fifth point is analysis of the data. Whatever the data our students have collected from the interview, from observation, from a documentation, everything has to be presented and it should be analyzed properly. Then finally, solutions to the problem. What problems the students have observed with regard to the sustainability of the waste or sustainability of the biodiversity or sustainability of the water? What are the solutions that the students have come out to rectify it, to regenerate that ecosystem? Okay, so those solutions. And finally, there should be conclusion. Okay, that's about the part A. Coming to the part B, in the eighth point, the serial number, the student should write an essay. I will give the details later on. It comes in the coming way. So detail, the essay should be of around 2,500 words. We'll discuss later. Then acknowledgement, whatever the help they have got from the headmaster, from the guide, from the institution, from the resource persons, or maybe from professors of a college or a high school or like that, acknowledgement should be there. Then references, what kind of references they have been made, what books they have read, what internet they have, websites they have visited, all those references have to be mentioned. And then checklist for the completion of the program. The major content that should be there in the project. There will be a checklist. They have to check the checklist and take the right mark for all the contents. Okay, that's about the content part. We'll come to the page number 4 and 5. The title of the project. You already know. Your students have already conducted that title of the project, which is catchy, very attractive, which creates curiosity. Now comes the abstract. Abstract is nothing but the synopsis, the entire content that the students have carried out over the 3 or 4 months. The title of the project, what are the objectives, and finally, what was the methodology, and what were the data they have collected, what was the interpretation, and finally, what is the result, what are the solutions, and how actually they have written the essay. The entire content of the project should be represented in 500 words. Let me say that in the abstract, there will be major keywords, and see that if at all, if we carefully read the abstract, that will give an idea how actually this particular project has been conducted and on what basis, what are the data, and finally, what are the solutions that are suggested. So abstract is nothing but the synopsis of the entire project. It has to be crystal clear, use technical words, use keywords, and see that if at all, if one observes, reads carefully the abstract, they will understand the entire content of the project. Okay, that's about the abstract. Now we come to introduction. You know that one has to write the introduction, why they have taken this project. And finally, also they must describe the background, why they have taken, what kind of status is there in that particular project they have undertaken. And finally, what are the aims and objectives? Is it to understand the sustainability? Is it to understand the kind of pollution or complete destruction that has been done, and how to overcome that, and how to come out with the suggestions, and which are the ones who have been affected by that kind of destruction of the environment. So all those aims and objectives must be written in the introduction. We'll come to the specific pointers for part A. You know, part A has compulsory activities and of course optional activities. Compulsory activities are 5 in number, and let's try to understand. See, part A has to be made very attractive. See, attractive for the reader, attractive in terms of information, attractive in terms of presentation also. You can make this particular part A as a fun plus learning. Okay, fun, edutainment, that's the word we use. Education and entertainment. It should be fun to read. At the same time, there will be a lot of information, lot of learning will be there. And engaging by using different tools. We have to engage the reader or the member of the jury uh, by using different tools or presentation formats, whether it is in the story format or direct description, or is it in the form of photos, sketches, cartoons. So part A has to be made very attractive. So please spend some time with our team members. You also please brood over that how it can be made attractive. I think students, the youngsters, will have open mind. They will come out with some activity. Please allow them to come out with some new idea and then pick up those important ideas to make the entire format attractive, fun, and engaging. Let's look at how we can make it. See, we can present observations, the students, whatever the observations they have made, the data that they have collected, and the experiences that the students have got during the activity can be in the form of a narrative, as if they have visited. Yeah, they have visited. When they visited, how they actually observed a thing and collected the data, and what was their experience. Did somebody met with some fall, whether they had a fall to add some fun, and what kind of observation or something new which was not known to them, and finally they were able to find out by discussion or going to the internet, or talking to the resource person, like that. It has to be in the form of a narrative. Then observations can also be presented as short poems. It's very important. See, poems are most effective, right? It will have some words which will have some rhythm. Okay, so we can ask students to express the same observation in the form of poems or couplets. See, the couplets will have similar kind of words but giving different meaning. Or haikus. Haikus are the kind of poems which will be having 6 or 7 lines, which will express the opinion. Okay, so we can ask our students to come out with these kind of short poems or couplets and haikus, which will make the entire party very attractive. Then we can also ask our students to illustrate with sketches, paintings, or cartoons. In fact, the present day generation students, what we call as the ZN generation, okay, this kind of generation will be having some skill of drawing the sketches or doing some painting, whether it is pencil sketch or oil painting or color painting. They will be very good in such things. So if at all, if one member of the team is good in drawing the sketches or paintings, please encourage them. Let them come out with these paintings and even cartoons. You see, some students would have also become experts in drawing cartoons of not only their teachers but also of the school and also of their own classmates. So you please push that particular talent to write cartoons on the project they have studied, right? That will create a lot of curiosity and interest for this entire project. To highlight something visually interesting. See, I think this will help the students to come out with. Okay. Uh, and also, we can ask the students, they would have already taken photographs and even video screenshots would have been there. You can paste them in the report at appropriate points wherever that particular point has been discussed. At that particular place, we can just ask the students to paste the photographs and screenshots of the videos, and then use data charts, whatever the data, whether it is in the form of pie chart or a bar chart, whatever it may be. So those graphs and charts should also be used to present the data very attractively. In fact, whatever we write in sentences for a para or for a full page can be represented by one chart or one graph. So this is the scientific language. Let the students learn this scientific language so that in future, when they do research on their own, when they become scientists or young scientists, putting up and coming up with a chart and graph will be a great learning for the students. In fact, through that very activity, they may be motivated to become environmental scientists or conservation scientists or sustainability scientists. That's the contribution that we'll be doing as facilitator. Then any other creative or innovative method of presenting the report as you choose. Let the students come out with some more creativity, whether they can use some origami or use some other method. So if the students have some idea, or as a facilitator, you also have some innovative idea which you have gained either during your teacher training program or faculty development program, please talk to them, let them improvise the idea that you have, and that can be presented in the part A. So part A, methodology of the project, how you have done the 5 compulsory activities and 2 elective activities. We know that part A has 2. One is a compulsory 5 activities that the students have already carried out, and 2 out of the 4 activities. So the methodology, how actually the students have approached these 5 activities, that should be there. Then uh, the uh, write about the location. See, this is very, very important. Which particular place and that particular school or that particular park or that part of the forest, where is it in the entire district or in your town, in your district and in your state? So take out a map or draw a map of your state or of your district, or maybe you can draw a big map of your state, and point out a small area of your district, and finally the particular school or particular land area where the project has been undertaken. See, that will give an idea for the member of the juries or the other resource persons or the students who go through the project, where actually it has been conducted and what are the weather conditions, what kind of rainfall is there, and how actually this particular destruction has taken place, and how the students have studied. Everything they can understand by looking at this particular location map itself. Then you also see that in the project there should be complete description of precisely what was done to collect and interpret the data for information. How actually you were able to collect the data. Is it the primary data? Is it the secondary data? And how actually you will conduct? Have you conducted the interview? And how the students have got the information from interviewing the different resource persons? And how they have interpreted the data? And finally got the conclusion that this particular
I think some connectivity.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Aditya,
Sir, sudden voice stopped.
yes, yes. There must be some connectivity issue.
Yeah. Just a minute, I'll call him and
Yeah.
Good morning. Teachers, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
I think all of you enjoying. If anybody is not
Don't try to meddle with all the controls. Don't share the whiteboard. Just close it. Whoever has done it, just close it. This is not the place for playing. Venkatratnam, keep quiet. There may be some issue with the connectivity. We'll shortly resume. Ravi, you just look into that.
Yeah. Just a minute. You're going to.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can hear you, sir. Come, sir.
Okay. Shall I?
Yeah. Share the point.
Oh, I have to share now once again.
Yes, because it has got cut. Go down and share screen. I think there must be some connectivity issue.
Yeah, there is a problem.
Down below. In green color, share screen.
Okay. Okay.
No, sir, I could not see the screen. Should I share, sir? There is a problem. I will share the problem.
One method. I have to share one, right?
Share screen. Green icon will be there next to chat. Now, if there is a problem, I will share. You just talk over it, sir. Same PowerPoint I have.
1 minute.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Sorry for the interruption. Let me continue. Dear friends, we have to, I was telling that we have to go with the uh, location. Sorry. Then you have to write the methods. Then we have to.
No, we were in earlier slides, I think, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Results. See, while writing the results, what was these students were able to find out at the end of the data analysis, meeting the resource persons? That you have to write. Start with the general results. What were the major observations they were able to find out? And finally, narrow down to specific, particularly whether a part of the ecosystem has lost its uh, exuberance, or a particular animal number has come down, or what kind of impurity has increased or reduced. So finally, you have to come down to the specifics. And finally, a discussion. What is it that you have learned? That means students have learned from the project. That's very important. Please see that there should be a discussion among the members of the team, and they should come out their learning of the project, and it should be tied back to your objectives. Whatever the learning that the students have made while doing this project, it has to be connected to the objectives that you have mentioned at the beginning. For what purpose this particular project was undertaken, to understand what uh, area that this project was undertaken. That kind of discussion should be there. And finally, they should also mention the constraints. You see, that is one of the best scientific method. What are the constraints that the students faced while conducting this particular project? Explain what situations they found the obstructions for them. What prevented the members of the team from achieving the objectives, if at all, if there was constraint? Is it because somebody opposed doing that work, or the parameters were not that good for the safety of the students while conducting the program? Or was there any other situation which came in way of completion of the project? Please mention those constraints also. Then the information collected from the activities. See, you have to give the data that has been obtained and also the information that the students have got from the activities. Please see that the data is obtained and information that has been collected from the activities. And you have to write in your own words. Let us be very specific. We have to ask our students to write this entire project in their own words about their experience gained by the activities. While conducting the activities, whatever the experience the members of the team have gained, that has to be represented in the form of writing using their own words, not very bombardic words, right? Similarly, while conducting the experiment, while conducting the games or field visits or interviews, whatever the idea they have gone, whatever the experience they have gained, that has to be represented very properly in their own words. And very interestingly, we have to ask our students, the team members, to paste the photos of each activities. Every activity should have photo. I think they have already taken. See that it is pasted at that particular point where the discussion has been made. Finally, dear facilitators, you must have already analyzed the data. Please see that under your guidance, the student should also try to analyze the data. Looking at the information they have got, what kind of inference that the data gives. It has to be analyzed, and analyze the data and also the information that the students have gained, and see that it is represented properly for easy understanding in simple words. And finally, there should be conclusion. Mention the conclusions that the students have drawn after the completion of all the activities. Let the students write the conclusions and the information they have drawn after the completion of each activity, of all the 5 activities. Right? That's very important. Okay, we'll come to part B. Well, all of you know that part B is the one wherein they have to collect a lot of information from the resources, especially from books, or by interviewing the resource persons, by getting the information from the resource persons, or also visiting the internet and different websites that you have referred to, or maybe the resource persons have referred to. So let the students visit those websites, or also read the books, go to the library, collect information, and finally, it has to be represented in the form of an essay where they will discuss that particular issue, which is there at the universal level, at the broader level, at the national level. And finally, they should write the history, say, for example, for the biodiversity. What kind of biodiversity was there about 100 years back? About 50 years back, the past ecological history of that particular area, and what is the present status of the biodiversity of that particular area, how much has been denuded, how much has been destructed, how many animals are in danger, how many plants have already disappeared from that particular area. And finally, out of the activity that has been generated, out of the solutions that the students have come out, and how they have formed the team of the local people, and also help to improve that particular area of the biodiversity, and how can it improve in coming future, or if at all, if there is no intervention, what will happen in future. So that is the way they have to come out while writing the ecological history of the past, present, and future. Similarly, the world of water. See, while writing about the water, say, for example, the amount of water that is being consumed, from where they get it, and which particular source for the school, and how much of water is being wasted, and how the students have come out with the experiment to measure the total amount of the water that is being consumed per day, and how much of water is being wasted, and how it can be recycled. See, about the world, of the water, how much of water is there in this planet, and how much of world water has been polluted, and today how much of rivers have been polluted, and finally in this particular case, what is the resource of the water, what was it maybe about 100 years, which was the resource for that particular school water, and what was the depth at which they were drawing water, and now what is the depth from the board well they are getting the water, and what was the quality of the water, by interviewing the probably the senior people, they would have got the information, and now the present status, and finally if there is very good intervention, how it is going to be improved in the future. Similarly, for the waste management also, what is the amount of the waste that was being generated maybe about 100 years back or 50 years back, and how it was being disposed, how it was nature friendly, or how it was affecting the environment, and now how much of waste is being generated, what kind of waste is more now in the present time, and how it is being disposed, how it is being recycled, is there any way, and by your intervention, is there any improvement in the waste disposal, safe disposal, or recycling, reuse? See, all these has to be written in the essay, which may have to go for 2,500 words. Well, you should also write the title of the essay, the past, present, and future, depending upon the subject, the topic that the students have taken. Then there should be an introduction mentioning how important the water is, or how important biodiversity is, and how important the waste recycling is needed, how to reduce the waste. You see, a general introduction. There should be 6 to 7 sentences what the essay expresses to the readers, a kind of a brief view. You have to present in 6 or 7 sentences how this particular essay will express what are the information that this essay will is having, that you have to write in 6 to 7 sentences, and describe and summarize your findings of the case and issue, particularly which particular case you have taken, issue have taken, describe in detail and summarize what were the findings that the team members have found out, right? Include the details of the issue, explaining its condition, the present condition, the changes from past to the present, say how it was about 100 years ago, 50 years ago, 10 years ago, and what is the present situation, and if at all, if any solutions that came out from the students, if they are adopted by the community, by the entire people, the beneficiaries of that particular area, and how it may be solved. See, all these things should be there. I think the best title for the entire essay is Global Thinking, Local Action, right? Well, please see that in the essay, the student should include the insights, the inner feeling, the gut feeling that has come while studying the project, while interviewing, while referring the information, and learning from the various conversations they had with the resource persons or the stakeholders of that particular area, and including the sketches and drawings. Okay, that also enriches the quality and presentation of the essay. Photographs, if you had already taken, please see that the photographs are pasted at the particular time. It is optional, but it cannot be used as substitute for the description of the essay. So it can only complement the entire reading of the essay. And finally, there should be a conclusion. Conclusion of global thinking, local action, and how actually the team has really interfere and finally come out with some solutions for that. As I mentioned, the essay should not exceed 2,500 words. I hope you can understand per page how many words can sit, and finally decide the number of words. It should not exceed 2,500 words. And finally, the most important, this is a method of scientific writing. We should acknowledge first of all, for Wipro and CPR for having provided the opportunity to take up this project, to implement this project, to develop that sustainable learning, education, and finally to work as a team, to analyze any a problem, to come out with the solutions for the problem. See, there should be acknowledgement. Express the gratitude. Those who have all helped to complete this project successfully, starting from Wipro, starting from CPRE, and your HM or the principal, your teacher, and all the resource persons you have met and interviewed, and all the stakeholders you have met, and all the local people who have shown interest, talk to you, share their opinion. See, detailed acknowledgement should be there. Expressing gratitude in one's life is most important, and especially while writing an essay or taking up a project and finally submitting as a written project, it is always good to express those acknowledgement. Finally, dear team members and teachers, you should also have these references. Mention the books that the students have written. There should be the title of the book, then the author or the authors who have written that book, and the publisher who have published that book. You can also mention the edition, if possible, the year that has been published. Okay, latest year, latest edition that has been read by you, understood by you. For getting more information, probably you must have gone to the library, maybe your own school library or university library or college library. Okay, our government library. Please also mention them in the acknowledgement, and especially make a list of all the references you have done. Apart from that, you should also mention the websites that you have visited to get the information. I hope you can understand. Large number of websites will be there. Students must have referred. Let them also mention which particular website they have referred and got the information. So that goes a long way for the members of the jury to understand whether this particular project is genuine, original, and they have done extensive research, they have done referred books. That's the way their brain is open to get the information from different resources. Well, now is the checklist for the completion of the program. We have to verify whether all the contents have been completed and really presented the entire essay. So at the end of the project, we have to tick the activities that we have completed to ensure that we have not missed anything. See, checking once again is most important. Whenever we have done some exploration, some research, it's always good to check whether all the exploration that we have done, all the learning we have done, and all the points to be mentioned in the essay must be there. So this will help with the evaluation process. Okay, it will be very good for the members of the jury to find out that the students have undergone all the processes and they have documented it correctly. If at all, if they have done and not represented here in the essay, the students will be missing this impression on the jury, and finally they may miss the opportunity of getting the prize. So apart from that, that is the method of checking ourselves of any project. So please advise your students, see that the students should check list and whether all the activities have been completely represented in the project. See, this in the part A, these are the compulsory activities. Say, for example, for sustainability and waste, activity 1, waste scavenger hunt. If it has been done, please put the tick mark like that. Activity 2, like that. Activity 3, 4, 5. Go on ticking after verifying that particular activity has been conducted by the students and has been represented in the entire essay. Only after referring it, looking at it, let them put the tick mark. Okay, that's easy. In the same way, elective activities. There are 4 activities. 2 the students have completed. Let them check whether that has been represented in the entire project report, and then tick the activity that they have done, whether it is activity 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, but 2 they must have done. They must also mention that they have been completed. Then coming to the part B, compulsory activities, moving communities towards sustainable waste management. Okay. And coming to the water project, see part A, once again, these are the checking points. Let them tick whether the interviews have been done. Let them put the tick mark in the box like that. Water audit, once again, tick like that. Rainwater harvesting potential, let them tick after having done that. Please check whether it has been done and documented in the project. Similarly, build to learn and case studies. Similarly, elective activities, there are 4 activities in this wastewater management. Then water quality, has it been done? Please see that it is. You tick that. And similarly, hidden water in our food, that also they would have done, they would have mentioned, see that whether it is been being mentioned in the written project, then tick it. So like that, please let them complete this checklist. And finally, part B, compulsory activities. If it is biodiversity program, completion checklist is here. So in the part A, there are 5 compulsory activities. All those they have to read, go back to the essay, go back to the project. They should see that has been done and then tick it. Like that, all the checklists have to be completely checked whether they have been represented, whether they are mentioned, whether details are there, photographs are there, like that. And then complete checking is after it is over, then that's the one. See, now let us understand. Now you see, you will be pausing on that project through the digital media to the particular area to the particular email. There will be evaluation. Whatever the project that has been submitted by your students, by your team, will be evaluated. It will be evaluated by a broader approach, and the jury, an appropriate jury, okay, jury consisting of experts in this particular field. So, Wipro Earthian will be judged based on a broader approach as deemed appropriate by the jury. The jury will sit and decide which is appropriate way of giving the decision, and they have a broader approach, not very narrow, because this is a student project. They know they have done in a small time. Okay, time line is quite short, and they are the ones who are doing for the first time. So the jury knows how to read and understand the originality of the project, and it will be based on the decision of the jury. The evaluation that will be done by the jury members is based on the genuineness, the originality of the activities that was done, and the comprehensiveness, overall understanding all the bits of information, all the experiments they have done, all the studies they have done, the information they have got from the resource persons, the comprehensiveness, that's very important. And creativity in documenting whatever they have learned, how best, how curiously they have represented, how differently they have represented, how interest creation is there in documentation. That creativity should be there. And the ability of seeing and drawing the broader connections, so that's also important. The students, after having done this project, after doing all experiments, interview, etc., they must have the ability of understanding the broader perspective, how actually the waste, say for example waste, how much of waste is going to be created in the world per day, and what an amount of the waste now destroys the soil, comes in way of the death of so many living organisms, and finally it will affect the entire ecosystem, entire earth, like that. The ability of that, the total ability of seeing that, and also the connections to the local area. If in that particular area so much of waste is generated, so much of kg of plastic is generated, and it's not being recycled, how it will finally pass on and affect on the entire ecosystem, on the living organisms, like that. So that broader understanding and connections should be represented in your project, and that will be considered by the jury to select the best project. To give you a sense of direction and clarity, we are listing few evaluation criteria. Okay, please try to understand these on these basis. They will evaluate your project report. Number one, see that there is a broader approach. Okay, how actually the entire universe, I mean the entire planet is going to be affected by that particular waste or pollution or destruction. See, that has to be represented. Do not blindly go by these alone. Pay attention to the broader approach. That's more important. How it will affect the entire town or nation or the entire planet. And most importantly, the genuineness. See, that's why it has been underlined, dear friends. It has to be original, genuine, coming from the experience, hands-on experience of our students, and the real learning by the students in doing the activity as displayed in the details of the documentation, observations that the student have done and recorded, the data that they have collected, and finally the evidence having done this activity. So the genuineness is the most important criteria by the jury to decide whether that is fit for the award. Then creativity in documentation. How best, how interestingly, how in a different way it has been presented, how it creates happiness and also very easy to understand. That creativity, here usage of multiple formats or ways and methods that are woven together into a whole. Say, for example, I was telling you may include origami, you may include photographs, you may include cartoons, there should be some interesting way creativity. That's very important. Then beyond just the data presented, now it should not be dry just presenting some data and putting it in the form of graphs, etc. A sense of having understood the problem, that's important. The sentences should represent how the students have really felt and understood the problem, to what extent the shortage of water has come, to what extent the biodiversity has been spoiled, or to what extent the waste is really dumped and finally destroying the local area. So that understanding should come from the heart, from the experience of the students while documenting. That's very important. And how will the connections to other issues have been drawn? How actually one particular problem will affect on the other. Say, for example, the lessening of a particular species in the biodiversity. Is it affecting the other animals or other plants or that particular ecosystem or the entire uh, the relations that is there between the food chain, like that, and expand it to understanding of sustainability, how it has to be used, how it has to be protected, and how it has to be maintained. Okay, so that's the reason here is the word think globally and act locally. It has to be linked to the global changes, and also there should be some local activity to reduce that particular kind of destruction or damage to the entire ecosystem, the entire earth. And how will the different perspectives of the issues raised in the part B have been understood? The major issues that have been raised in the essay, okay? How it has been understood and thought through and presented. How actually the larger meaning of water pollution, a shortage of water, or how the larger view of the entire biodiversity of the world, and how it is being now in a dangerous position, and how there are attempts to maintain, regenerate, and bring back that luxurious biodiversity back. All these things should be represented in your essay. While the internet may be used for research, text and diagrams, download may not be included. It's most important, my dear uh, fellow teachers and students. Please, you can refer any number of website or any number of YouTube information or whatever information that is there in the internet, but do not copy it on. Don't go for what is that, copy and paste. Try to understand that, try to put it in your own words, and then rewrite in the in your essay. So please always do not just do the cut and paste thing. Come out, let the content should go to your brain, and from the heart and brain you should represent in your own words, in your own sentences, and you should express your feelings, express your ideas in writing, in your writing. That's very important. And let the materials be presented in their own words, students' own words, and also sketches redrawn by them. Maybe if they want the same photo or the same sketch that is there in the internet or YouTube, etc., let them copy it, write it down from that particular thing. Let it not be cut and paste, but just let them redraw it. Okay, redrawing by the students. See, that will create some genuineness, and probably they will also remodify to apply it if at all, if they feel that it has to be made more attractive. And citations and references to the books and interviews can be provided wherever required. If the students feel in the very essay itself, in the entire description of the entire project, if they feel that references have to be given, or the person whom they have interviewed, it can be mentioned within the brackets, if at all, if it is needed, if it is required. It is the quality of learning and not the quantity that's important. Let me please try to understand. It is not the number of pages, it is not the number of sentences that the students write for this project. It is the learning, what they have learned, that's more important. Please give for the quality of learning rather than the quantity of the entire report. So please remember, it is a quality. It is a quality how actually the students learn and how they come out with alternate solutions to protect environment, to continue the sustainability. That's the one which will be considered for the considered by the jury for giving you the awards. Okay, now let's find out how much of weightage will be given by the members of the jury while assessing, while awarding the complete marks or the total opinion by the members of the jury. If it is your project is under this title sustainability and waste, okay, in this for part A, 70%. Weightage will be there. 50% for compulsory activities. You know that there are 5 compulsory activities. For each activity, I think 10%. So put together in the part A, for compulsory activity, it is 50%. And electives, the students would have conducted 2 activities out of the 4. For that, 20%. That means 10% for each activity of the electives, right? Part A. And part B, for the compulsory one, which is a big essay that has been written, 2,500 words. For that, looking into its genuineness, connectivity, broadness, understanding, creativity, 30% marks will be given. So whoever has submitted or going to submit this particular project on sustainability and waste, please remember, this is how the marks will be awarded. 50% on the compulsory activities of the part A, 20% on the 2 elective activities of the part A, and part B, 30%. Then for sustainability and water, for this, see, 40% of part A, 40%, and 20% of 2 activities out of the 4 elective activities, 20%. Whereas for 5 activities, it is 40%. So put together for part A, it will be 60%. Okay, am I clear? See, while awarding the marks, they will be awarding around 60% for part A, out of which 40% for the compulsory 5 activities in part A, and electives, 2 electives out of the 4, 20%. The remaining 40% for part B. So that is how they will evaluate. Okay, that's about the sustainability and water. And sustainability and biodiversity. For this particular project, if your students are submitting or already submitted for this, see, this is how the jury will allot the marks. For part A, it is 60%. Out of the 60%, 40% for the compulsory activities. You know that there are 5 activities, 40%. And there will be 2 activities out of the 4 activities for the electives, 20%. Overall, for part A, it will be 60%. And for part B, which is compulsory, the big essay, right? For that, 40%. Put together, both 60 and 40, 100%. So please try to understand the allotment of the marks for part A compulsory, for part A electives, and finally part B compulsory. So that's how the jury will try to allot the marks and decide. Well, these are some information for all the teachers and also the students who are actually watching this particular video. Please see that entries should be submitted. All your projects have to be submitted in English or regional language, right? It has to be in English or regional language. It can be Malayalam, Tamil, Kannada, Telugu, Gujarati, whatever it may be. Okay. So that's about. The first entries has to be either in English or in regional language. Second, coming to the second one, part A will contain a report on various activities completed. Teams are encouraged to include various forms of creative documentation along with the written text. Written text should be there and it has to be supplemented with some photographs, some cartoons, haikus, poems, right? So, like that, it has to be there. And part B submission needs to be an essay. Submission needs to be an essay, part B, that you already know. Okay. And the project submission must be in the soft copy in PDF format. So please remember, or you can note down, the entire submission has to be in the soft copy, that too in PDF format. I will repeat once again. I request all the participants in this particular session to note down the project submission has to be in the soft copy, no hard copy. There's no need to submit the hard copy or post it to the head office, right? So it has to be in the soft copy, that too in the PDF format, and it has to be sent to respective state in charge email address. Okay, you must have been given the email addresses, or now Arsu sir will give the email addresses. Please see that that soft copy in the PDF format should reach the particular email address. Then for the supplementary material, say for example, you have video, you have some interviews which have been recorded or any other presentation, you can either upload the content on yousendit.com or YouTube and share the link with us in your report. So in your report, you can mention this is the one which has been sent to yousendit.com, or you can mention the link of the YouTube. Share it in your report. So this is how finally the project has to be sent to the office. Okay, I think CPRE office you have to send. The details will be given by sir. And last but not the least, please note down the last date for submission is 28th October 2024 at the end of this month. So, dear teachers, see that at least 2 days in advance, you should post it to the office, the soft copy in the PDF format. So, don't try to postpone that. See that it is posted at least 2 days in advance. And before submission, please once again go through the checklist and see the content and how best you can improve upon. Do it and finally send it to the particular web email, which will be given by Arsu sir. So with this, I will conclude my presentation. If there are any questions or any queries or any additional information, you are most welcome. I finally thank CPR Environmental Education Center and Wipro Earthian project members for providing me an opportunity to talk to you. I'm extremely sorry for some internet connection issue, which was not in my hand. Thank you once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Arudia. It was very illustrated and descriptive presentation. I think you can get all your clarification clarified by the presentation itself. You might not be having any doubts. So if you have any specific queries on any of the points, you can raise your hand and we can go ahead with the answer. Is there any queries? Just raise your hand. See some of your Aishwarya M. You have raised your hand.
Good morning, sir. I had a doubt regarding the biodiversity and sustainability. In the Part B elective, they have given a particular format to submit the Part B in a project report. Sir here mentioned that we have to submit it in an essay. I just wanted to clarify that if we're doing an essay, should it be in the same format as given, or how are we supposed to do that? I just wanted to clarify.
Also, can you just share your opinion?
No, sir. In the biodiversity,
Yeah, I
in
got the
the
point.
book,
I got the point. I'm just asking our CPRE
Yeah.
officer.
Yes, sir. Aishwarya, if you have gone through the biodiversity booklet, whatever format it is suggested, you can do the same. Essay, descriptive essay is common for all the three thematic areas. Okay, it is not only for biodiversity. So whatever you have carried out in activities, part A, elective, part B, your report should be in a descriptive format. That's what he mentioned. Because you should not go for a PowerPoint and do the PowerPoint report and convert into PDF and send it to us. Your report should be in a descriptive format. You describe the activities carried out, whatever learnings you had during the activities, you record that, and finally format is as a report and submit it. Okay, so there should not be any deviation from that. Your report should be descriptive, not in PowerPoint, not in very sketches, only points. Those who read your report, including the jury members, should understand what you have gone through, what is that you have done in that particular activity, what was your learning. That is the three aspects. That's the reason why your report should be descriptive, like you are writing an essay, writing some kind of story, writing some kind of report. Okay. So that is the point, Dr. Aradhya. That is the exact right point. You should give your report. Okay.
Okay.
thank you,
Aishwarya,
sir. Thank you, sir. That clears my doubt.
Yeah.
is it clear to you, ma'am?
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Nice. Okay. Nice.
Thank
Okay.
Any other questions? Raise your hand. We will try to complete because there are around 92 participants now. So it will be easy for us to come to you if you raise your hand. How to raise your hand? Go to reactions and raise hand. There is an option in the below in the meeting screen. If you go below, there is an icon called reaction. If you click it, there will be an indication to raise your hand. Raise hand. If you click that, you can raise your hand in your pop-up video. Yes. Any more questions? There were some queries in the chat. I think in the chat I have seen. Is the PowerPoint will be available in the group? Yes, we will put the PowerPoint because we were in the meeting. We are in the meeting. And it is live stream into YouTube. Live stream YouTube video also. Live stream YouTube link is also posted in the YouTube. Sorry, WhatsApp groups. We will try to post it after the session is over. We will try to post the PowerPoint for your references. So the most important one is more than PowerPoint, what he has Dr. Aradhya has explained, what interpretation he has given with his experience. That is most important. Don't ask for recordings. You cannot go on, give all the formats. Recording is a high. The file size will be very high. It is very difficult to pass it on. We should edit. Those things are there.
Dear friends, to sum up, please try to remember genuineness, how original it is, and what learning the students have done. And finally, how it has been represented in the essay. I think these are the three parameters.
Exactly.
Okay, that will raise the quality of the presentation, the content of the presentation, and the genuineness of the presentation. That will decide. Apart from getting a prize or award, please forget how your students will learn, how they imbibe that method of solving a problem, understanding a problem as a team. See, that is a great learning which will remain for their entire life. And you will be extremely happy to see such persons becoming scientists or top bureaucrats or environmentalists. That's a great contribution that you will derive, the happiness that you will derive over few decades, coming decades.
That's a whole essence. Exactly. You said it right. Are there any hands coming up? Are there any questions? If there are no further questions, we have presumed that everything is understood. We don't have any more queries to raise. So I would like to thank Dr. Niranjan Arathia.
Sir, Rajgopal has raised hand.
Sir, my side there is no question, but I special thanks to for this session. Actually, we started our project and we got some information, but your session giving a valuable strength for us to make the conclude how to present the our project report in all areas. You given very crystal clear ideas for us, so it's a great thankful to provide this type of during this time. So special thank for organizers to provide a valuable resource training for us for finalizing our documentation, sir. Once again, a special thank you, sir. Actually, this journey, I actually while starting this project, I am a mentor. Once the project is started, students also mentoring the other students, and
Oh,
our
great.
project is leads by the students. I feel very wonderful experience doing this type of project, especially concerned with water we are doing. I feel very happy. Recently, we visited one tribal village, how they are managing the water resources. So,
Mm.
student asking their questions there in own way is a wonderful feeling for me. Special thanks to Wipro as well as the CPP. So, this type of kinding projects in our curriculum, it should be really hands-on experience, hands-on field, and like I feel very happy for this part of this project. Thank you once again. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Rajagopal, from which place you hail? State.
Yes, sir. I am Anakapalli district of Andhra Pradesh.
Very good.
Recently, I visited tribal area.
Yeah,
It's
Since you're
in
talking about
ESR
tribal
district.
area, now I
Yes, sir.
Please represent that in the form of photograph and also the
Sure.
experience that the local tribal people are doing. Let me
Yes,
mention
yes.
actually the
That
traditional practices by our tribal people will give us a lot of insights to
yes,
learn
sir.
and to live along with other living and non-living objects in this
Yeah,
planet.
yeah,
Great learning.
especially we visited one program that that community is managing the water management. So
Wow.
that's why I feel very happy. Actually, they are finding the water through gravity system, and the community they are sources from source to actually it's very far from their village, but they lift the water with gravity with source of Ajit Premji Foundation and near one another NGO. So they are managing very good purified water. They have very crystal clear idea about how to manage the water. So I feel wonderful by doing this project. Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Great,
sir.
sir.
Thank you,
Great.
sir. So again, you have, in the chat room, you asked about the recording. Recording won't be there. If you can come into the CPR EEC Chennai, CPR Environmental Education Center Chennai YouTube channel, you can find at the live section, the recording of it. You can see that. We'll try to edit it and repost it. Recording won't be sent to any of the groups because it involves privacy, it involves time, it involves file time, file size, and all those things. So some of the feedback was saying that somebody tried to post it in the social media. So it is not for the social media. It is a learning program. We will love to have learning happening in the particular program. So we won't be sending you the recording. Try to visit CPREC Chennai YouTube channel. See it once it is edited. Thank you, Dr. Arithya, for your exhaustive,
Thank you.
illustrative
I'm
lecture.
always happy to associate with you with
Definitely.
CPRE. Great learning and also great moment. This most apt for the present day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. If there are no further questions, we will just wind up the meeting, conclude it. So you can log out of the meeting. So in another 2 minutes, I'll be ending.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
The email IDs for sending the project reports will be given in the respective WhatsApp group. Because if I give all the email IDs together, you will get confused. The respective state in charge will give the email IDs to send the project, Earthian project submission to the state in charge. Okay. Ravi, Venkatratnam, Gopal, Senior Dr. Srinivasan. So it will be given in the WhatsApp group. Don't worry about it.
Thank you.